be up all night.
Here's the other side of where we are. You can see some heads. They got some warm clothing on. Gotta give them a panorama now as we head out. These mountains are between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. There's one that we're going to see, I think it's about 6,000. You see some of the ice in the water. They get broke off. Pretty wet above our swimming trunks. I don't think I'll be using them.
That face you see in front of you is about a half-mile wide and anywhere between 200 and 300 feet above the surface of the water and about the same distance below the surface of the water. Portage Glacier is what's called a tidewater glacier, which means it's actually making contact with the water. Another type of glacier is a hanging glacier, which is what Burns is off on the left-hand side of the boat. The third type of glacier is an alpine glacier, which is those glaciers you find up on.
Density?
Due to the reflection, the way the crystals form within the ice, and the light spectrum hits that ice, the reds and the yellows and the oranges are all absorbed within it. But the blue light, because it's a shorter wavelength, is reflected right back to your eyes. And the more compact that ice is, the less air is in there, and the more blue light's reflected right back to your eyes. So it's not actually blue, it's just kind of the way we see it.
Yeah, you got it. That's fine. No, you're not gonna work. That won't work.
Wow, it
Yep.
does.
Just focus down. No picture you can.
Oh.
All this ice that we see around us right now in front of the boat is will eventually make its way down toward the other end of the lake. The winds come from behind us here and push all that ice in the other direction. In about 1 week or so, it'll actually be down toward the visitor center at the far end of the lake, where actually Portage Glacier once was in 1914, at the far end of the lake. That's how fast it's receded over the years. That point and was visible from the far end of the lake.
sorry, sir. Those are for senior citizens only.
We are looking at Mount McKinley Range. Give you an overall view first. Stop on the highway. Pretty impressive. Although I'll see it early tonight when I get to accommodation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to zoom in a little bit.
Zoom out there, huh?
Start to the left. Smaller piece.
He rides hard, but when he falls off,
There's a big one. McKinley. Over 20,000 feet. More than 5 miles. Excuse me, 4 miles high. This is just one little range.
we are no longer fishers. We are catchers.
That's why they don't call it catching.
Nothing like the sound of the drag being pulled out of your reel.
Oh, you wouldn't
That's
know
where
that
Ron climbed.
sound, would you, Howard? Because you had it set all. Oh, it is drag.
It's
Yeah, it was
breathtaking.
too tight.
There was a little slip. The only snow you heard was the knots.
Take a panoramic view here.
Meanwhile, there's somebody
And
down
here's
there.
our last
Ow.
effort.
That one?
Get as close as we can.
Nope, the leaves. There you go.
You got caught breathing.
And that's where they are. Magnificent. It's a gorgeous day here. Saturday the 28th. Perfect weather. Gorgeous day.
Hey, Paul, go take care of that tree right there on the left. It's blocking the whole view.
Look, if you go right here. From here
About there.
way over there.
Let's go back to the original
No, I think from here
to get some perspective.
to Hughes.
Had to range it out first.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that. We could take that sound loop.
Box? Nice curve.
You looking for the box?
There's the highway. Almost looks like a bear with its mouth open there.
More like
Well, we're back at Mount McKinley in Denali National Park, and I just thought I'd start by showing you Mount McKinley. See, there's some clouds. Gorgeous. I'm going to back up again and kind of look over the whole layout. So range
Better
here.
enjoy that. You won't see that very often around here.
Really?
I was here before and didn't see anything like this.
This is gorgeous. With little bit closer.
Stopped at the same spot, I think, too.
Might keep getting tired of this, but that's all the big bucks went toward. And we're at the top.
Been to the park yet?
Going there right now.
Yeah, I was got within 15 miles of that thing, couldn't see it.
Oh, because of the
Gonna take
weather.
the trip to Wonder Lake 2 days in a row, tomorrow and the next.
Well, here we are. Stopping on the way close to McKinley. You can see the bus kind of at the bottom. Just to give you another panoramic. You hear a bus leaving. As I head to the left here, the sun is probably gonna... Whoops. Start to move in a little bit. This gorgeous day. Second straight one. A little closer. It is just a gorgeous day today. Maybe we'll do one more little zoom in. Idea of the magnitude of these mountains. Some of them are probably only, I don't even think that's McKinley. Be a fun slide down the snow. Just kind of heading up and down. So here we are. It's supposed to be going to get to Denali, or McKinley, I should say. Get better perspective. See a few people on the bottom there.
Can you get it back there?
Just gonna take some look in. I don't know if it's showing up or not. Not much else here to look at.
That's it, it's right here.
No, that's fine. I got yours.
Just gorgeous. So somewhere up there was Ron Axel. Come down.
Just push?
Yes.
Start up the other side. It's hard to get good perspective on this. That's 20,000 feet.
Now here he comes. He's got the throttle to the firewall. He's already rolling nicely. The tail's off the ground. He gets about 42 miles an hour airspeed right here. Rotate and lift off. tail is long. It was actually much shorter than I thought it was going to be. Some days he has a little bit of a headwind, and it takes off rather nicely. A little over 200 feet or so, right in that little airstrip. Now, I mentioned that these little airplanes are a lifeline to rural Alaska, and while Bill is going around to come back and land next to us, I'll give you a good example that he shared with me about something that happened to him one day as a pilot. He got a phone call one morning to fly out to one of the villages out of that nice blue area. Here you're going to tip the plane right up on its wings and do a slip and slide the airplane right down out of the sky, right in front of those houses, down to treetop level, right over the top of Discovery 1 down there. That's your landmark now. Look downriver for that stern wheeler that's just ahead of us. Now he's going to bank a little bit and come right upriver as if he's going to land right next to the boat. Now another little slip here. He'll do a dog leg to the right here in a moment. Just a few feet off the water, really. The power's back, the flaps are down. He's probably doing about 38 miles an hour. Right over the top of the willow trees, a little bit of a hedge trimming maneuver here. And then touchdown right behind that little Piper Super Cub on floats. Stand on the brakes, bring the airplane to a stop right next to the boat. Wow, what a great way to start the morning. Bill, John, our neighbor Susan Butcher.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. Good morning, everybody.
Hello. Good morning, Susan. What a beautiful day. Cool weather, good news for dog training?
Well, it is. We've been out this morning with some of the dogs on our trail set over here with four-wheeled carts, and I think we'll be able to get most of the others out if it doesn't get too hot too soon. And so, of course, we all love the fall training. But this afternoon, when it does get warm, we still have some alternate means of exercise. We like to take our dogs out in our riverboat here. We'll take up to 15 at a time, go down to one of the islands on the Tanana and just let them run loose there. And they get a lot of great exercise that way, and we all get to do a little bit of swimming. But summer is always a time for puppies, and we've had 5 litters born so far this summer. This is the youngest litter, and they just turned 6 weeks today. So they're ready for the second stage in their socialization. Up until now, it's just been a whole lot of playing with them, but we'll start them on their daily walks in the woods. And we like to take their mother with us and some of our older retired dogs, because what we're trying to teach them on those walks is the same love of adventure that we have. And also the beginnings of a trust and be trusted relationship. And it's pretty easy to do because there's a lot of obstacles on the trail. There's some water to swim through, some steep cliffs to go up, some big logs to climb over, and we're there to encourage them over these obstacles, praise them on the other side, and most importantly, if it's too much for them, then we're there to lift them over it. And this way they can start to understand that we'll be there for them at every stage in their life. And that is most important when they start running in harness and racing, that they can understand that we'll never ask them to go any farther or faster than they're capable of.
Well,
now Molly's going to take those back to their mother, Beanie. She still doesn't like to be away from them for too long at this age.
But you did mention getting them into harness eventually, of course. How old are they when you first start breaking them into harness?
Well, Stacy's just let out a group of dogs. The big gray one is Jessie, and do you see that we have? Okay, we've got a couple that came out from another litter. We got Jessie's litter here that's a little over 3 months old. So as soon as we get some snow on the ground, they're going to be ready to go into harness. We'll take 1 adult leader out in front and 4 to 6 puppies behind. And it's so instinctive in them to pull that within the first minute or two, they start to look like a small adult team of dogs. So we have a saying here at the kennel that it only takes us 2 minutes to teach them to go, but about 2 years to teach them to whoa.
A little like a 16-year-old with a driver's license in that case. But now, are you watching these youngsters when you're working with them out on the trail and able to make some kind of early determination on their potential as leaders?
Well, we are. We've got 3 different litters that just decided to come out and visit us, so that's why Stacy and I are kind of having fun here. The mother, Jessie, of the light-colored pups, she's one of the greatest leaders I've ever had, and so her daughter, Flower, looks just like her right over there by Stacy, acts just like her, and we have high hopes for her. But actually, it really just takes years of patience of bringing each puppy around to their full potential before we can figure out which ones are going to be the great sled dogs. And I can probably best describe that to you in the story of a dog that I had born here almost 20 years ago, who when he was a young puppy, he didn't look like he was going to be a very good sled dog. He had a poor hair coat, cowhawk legs, and no confidence. and most mushers would have given up on him and sold him as a pet. But on my runs in the woods with he and his litter mates, I saw a special spark in him, and it was a challenge that I couldn't resist to try and make him into a champion sled dog. So I worked very hard with him physically to bring him around through special nutrition and training. Mostly, I concentrated on his lack of confidence, and I gave him a strong name, Granite. And he soon learned to draw from my strength and confidence, and we became a very powerful team. And all that extra work paid off because Granite turned into a great leader. He eventually led me to victory in the 1986 and 87 Iditarods, both of those in record time, along with countless other races between 300 and 500 miles in length. But his story goes on from there because while we were training for the 1988 racing season, he became very seriously ill, and I had to rush him down to Anchorage to a veterinary hospital to try and save his life. And we set up a cot next to his kennel so that I could sleep with him there, day and night, petting him and willing him to live. And finally, after 2 weeks, the veterinarians told me that I could take him home, but that he was never going to be able to run again, that he had permanent damage to his heart and liver and kidneys. So I took him back to our homestead in Eureka. And he was living in the cabin with David and me, but every time we would take the other dogs out on runs, he would cry and howl, wishing that he could go out with us. And what the veterinarians didn't understand is that Granite had grown to be a magnificent canine athlete who loved to run and race. And all the dogs love competition, and they understand when they have won, and they have as much pride as any human athlete. Granite was determined to get back on the team, and slowly but surely his test results started showing improvements that the veterinarians were astounded at, and they decided to let him start training with the little puppies on 2-mile runs, and he soon advanced to running with the yearlings on 10-mile runs. And finally, by January, he was once again running with the main team, and the veterinarians okayed him for a 200-mile race, and he towed that young team to a record-setting victory. And then 1.5 months later, he went on to do the impossible. He led me to victory in the Iditarod, and he did it by pulling me through a blinding snowstorm that stopped all of my competitors. So we finished 14 hours in front of the second-place musher who couldn't make it through the storm. And that made Granite the only lead dog to ever win 3 consecutive Iditarods.
How about that? What a remarkable comeback story. Granite, folks, died about 2.5 years ago at the remarkable age of 17 and a half. But Susan, I still see a lot of familiar faces from Granite here at Trailbreaker Kennels, do I not?
Well, definitely. We're very lucky to have had many of his sons and daughters and still have a few of them. We have lots of grandchildren and great-grandchildren, so we have his spirit certainly still... His spirit still here in the kennel with us. We're also very lucky that we have so many of our older retired dogs live to be between 14 and 18 years of age, and they're really important to us. Not only are they, of course, the ones that help us keep the couch warm, but very importantly, they're the ones that will train this young group of enthusiasm, and I think they pass more on to the puppies than we ever can.
Well, and we know that when they...
7 of our Iditarod champions, and they will be demonstrating a little bit about dog mushing for you.
Well, and folks, David is Dave Munson, a champion of the Yukon Quest, a very fine championship dog musher himself. Some great champions from the Iditarod Trail, and Susan Butcher's team downriver as well. Look forward to that, and help me say thank you once again to a champion from the Iditarod herself, Susan Butcher.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much, Susan, for taking a little bit of time out of your day. I know you got your hands full with the puppies there, and we sure appreciate the time you spent with us and all 3 litters. Folks, this medieval-looking piece of equipment with the dog houses on it, that is a modified horse walker they use for training the dogs in the summer. When it's a little bit warm, they can get out there, and the dogs know when it's time to take a rest. They can just hop right up and get in their dog boxes or pull the thing around as they choose. Now, if you look over the dog walker, kind of to your left of that dog barn, you will see a big house being built back there. That is Susan Butcher and Dave Munson's new home. The log cabin behind Susan right now is where she and her husband have lived for about 12 years. So they deserve a big house, and they are in the process of building one. The dog house is behind the dog barn, of course. That's where the dogs are. Some of the dogs now are up at that training camp at Eureka, about 150 miles from here, getting ready for winter. Look forward to seeing was born in May, started growing antlers almost immediately. The female, right next to the youngster, shed her antlers right after the birth of the young and then started growing new ones almost immediately. The males shed their antlers after the fall rut And then they start growing new antlers, usually in mid to late winter. Now the antlers at this stage are covered in velvet. And velvet is a layer of skin and tissue that protects the blood vessels that carry the nutrients into the antlers as they mature. Once the antlers are fully developed, they shed the velvet, the antlers cure in the air and have a rich mahogany-like coloration to them. Now harvested at the proper time of year and ground up into a very fine powder, these antlers are worth several $1,000s per set on the Asian market.
Whoa.
They're used for medicinal purposes. The herbalists tell us that they are used primarily for the treatment of lower back pain and kidney ailments. She did mention that they had another use for reindeer.
Thank you very much. Run over.
Thank you. Way. Okay.
At one time, there were herds of tens of thousands of domestic reindeer in northwest Alaska, and they were part of a red meat industry that rivaled the beef industry of the lower 48 states. Back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, the clear water of the Chena River. Now it looks almost like you can see the bottom of the river. I'll promise you the bottom is about 10 to 12 feet down. So you're seeing just the glacial flour that's sort of hovering, moving like mist in a meadow right below the surface here. The Athabascan people call this phenomenon Nuchalawoya, and Nuchalawoya means wedding of the rivers. Notice how fast the Tanana River is moving, 6 to 8 miles an hour. Remember the Chena River we were in, are barely moving at all, about a mile an hour. But the convergence of the currents does create this interesting effect where the silt, which is really a ground-up metamorphic rock called mica schist, very fine in suspension, stirs its way into the mouth of the Chena River. Now the Tanana River, which we're going to move out onto and talk to Dixie Alexander, the current will take us by Fish Camp. We'll explain parts of it to you. Notice that the fish wheel is made up of 2 baskets. The wheel is turned by the current. Those baskets scoop into the water. The salmon swim into the baskets and are literally lifted out of the water and dropped into a box where they're taken ashore and processed. Now this particular fish wheel is operated under a permit with the state of Alaska, and so we don't keep the salmon we catch. In fact, you can notice the box has been altered so the salmon will fall back in the river.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Normally that box would have 4 sides that would hold the salmon. Now notice the baskets. As they enter the water, the basket is face down. As it exits the water, the salmon would be swimming into it, and face up, the salmon would be scooped right out of the water, slide down that basket into a trough, and down the trough into a box. Again, we'll be back here to talk to Dixie Alexander, spend a little bit of time at Fish Camp. He, of course, navigated this in the early days in a few moments. I do want to draw your attention right now to the right-hand side. So look at those houses up on the hillside. Those are year-round homes up there. Now the riverbank closer in, take a look at that, and imagine the largest community in the territory of Alaska during the gold rush. And it was called Chenatown, and there's no evidence it ever existed. So take a look at the riverbank and then take a look at your TV sets, and we'll show you what Chenatown looked like 95 years ago. Now here's a picture taken from the bluff in front of us of Discovery 3. And now there's a picture from the same bluff taken in 1905. Photographs like this are on the wall outside the gift shop, by the way, if you want to see more about Chenatown. Chenatown was really the heart of interior Alaska, and it was a port city where the freight was delivered off the west coast, thousands of miles of ocean and river travel. To our left, you'll see another channel of this braided river, far off to the left. In front of it, there's a sandbar that blocks it from coming over here. That sandbar was covered with water just 2 weeks ago. Now, there are sandbars that evolve and disappear here almost on a weekly basis, sometimes a daily basis if the water is extremely high. This creates great challenges for the riverboat captains who have no navigational aids except their own skill and knowledge of the river to navigate. Just like Captain Jim did back in the 1940s and 50s, the same challenges exist today. Now we're going to turn this boat around right here. If you watch your television monitors, you'll see a live picture from the pilot house. The captain is going to turn the boat around on its own length. You can see there's no...
To the cap I grew up on the Yukon River, My family still fishes at the same spot today. Our camp is located about 30 miles above the village of Fort Yukon. Very similar to this, although I think our camp up there is much larger than this. And that's because I come from a big family. I have 6 brothers, 6 sisters, grandparents, and lots of cousins that always visit us in fish camp. So we have a lot more canvas wall tents like the 2 back here. Very comfortable to spend the summer in those. We fix them up really nice. Sometimes if it got chilly at night, we just build a fire in the wall tent. And our smokehouse is much like this little one back here, but larger. Other than that, our camp on the Yukon River, very similar to this camp on the Tanana today.
Well, you talked a lot about family, Dixie, and I'm getting the impression there's more to fish camp really than just catching and harvesting salmon and building fish wheels. What else goes on here?
Well, I think this is an excellent time for the whole family to learn many different kinds of skills. Me and my sisters, after all the chores were done around camp and all the salmon was cut up and put in the smokehouse, we would learn how to tan moose hide, caribou hide. We also learned how to do beadwork, porcupine quill work, and lots of skin. But I remember many days my father would move around the fish wheel until he hits a good spot next to the cut bank where the salmon would run pretty strong. Some days he would even have to turn off the wheel. We could catch up to 200 to 300 salmon a day, and when we're catching that much salmon, everybody in camp stays busy.
Well, folks, you can see how busy it would be with a smokehouse to fill, with the drying racks over there with the finished product on it. But right here is a salmon caught in a fish wheel near here. And Dixie, can you tell us a little bit about that one?
This here is a chum salmon. We also have a nickname for these guys. We call them the dog salmon. And the only reason we call it chum...
You will make that same circuit of the village in another minute or two, so kind of be aware that that is his next route if you want to take some more pictures. The next thing he needs to do, though, is thank the dogs. Remember Susan Butcher told us about trust and be trusted with these dogs. And Dave will tell you how this kind of behavior and a partnership between dog and musher will save lives out on the trail. And Dave, it does seem to me like the cooler the weather, the hotter the dogs. They know fall is in the air, don't they?
Well, they certainly do, Phil. It's a very exciting time of the year. You can feel it's a little crisp this morning, and the dogs sense that their season is coming up, so they want to give me as exciting a ride as possible, and that's always exciting for me because it allows me to demonstrate to you how the relationship between dogs and man has evolved over the thousands of years that be lead dog. And the lead dog, what they'll do is listen for my verbal commands, because as you can see out here, there are decisions to be made. If I want to go right, I give the G command. If I want to go left, I give the hog command. They listen and respond immediately. But she has a little bit of help, and it comes from these 2 dogs back here, Abigail and Tori. They're my swing dogs. And swing dogs, what they do is actually help swing the front end of the team down the right trail by responding to my commands. And that's especially important when I have more dogs in the team. I have more power. I'd add them, of course, if I'm going further distance or I'm carrying a heavier load. So I add them right back here. This is called team dog position. And this is Prairie Dawn and Moz running there today. I can have anywhere from 2 to 14. Of course, I have to lengthen my gang line to accommodate that. So I have the dogs individually or in pairs. Now, if I have a 20-dog team, my leaders are going to be out near those benches over 100 feet in front of my sled. So you know how much I rely on the leaders to get going down the right trail. But I rely on these guys back here, Baleen and Pony, my wheel dogs, to help me turn the sled. Now, wheel dogs are traditionally a little bit larger because they have to help muscle the front end of the sled around the corner, because when it's fully loaded, it wants to go straight forward. So they're jumping around in the front, pulling on the nose a bit. I'm running and pushing on the tail so we can pivot around the corners. Now, my job doesn't end there. I have to keep the sled upright by shifting my weight from one runner to the other, pumping with one leg, hiking the sled on its side. At the bottom of hills, I actually run between the runners, pushing on the sled to lighten it for my teammates. And at the summit, I stand on this mechanical brake. You saw me use it to stop the sled back here. I do that so we can slowly and safely get down the hill. Now, I'm going to try and demonstrate all these techniques, as well as give my leader up there a right-hand command, turn a G command, as I go back into the kennel. When you stop by as one of your 4 stops, I'm going to give you a history of these dogs and also try and answer any questions that you might have. But I can probably imagine what your first question just might be, because I think you noticed as soon as we stopped here, immediately my lead dog started digging a hole. Well, these dogs are all Alaskan Huskies. They're very much creatures of their instinct, so whenever we stop, instinctively, they start digging for gold. So I hope you got a couple nuggets up there. It looks like it's time to go. They're pretty excited, but not before I say thank you and welcome to Chena Village.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave Munson. And folks, you can see these dogs are enthusiastic. Listen to what Dave does now. First of all, he gets that snow hook off, secures that, and then gives these dogs a single word, and they're on their way. And you see they quiet right down, start pulling very enthusiastically. You don't have to talk them into doing this, just point them in the right direction. Look over by the trading post, folks, near the guard. They'll come right out toward the boat again, right through the village. Beautiful shot with the trading post, flagpole, flowers in the background. Moving nicely. Hiking the sled a little bit now and then, pumping with one leg.
Good job. Okay, I guess we're just about all here, so I'm going to start out introducing myself. I'm Dave Munson from Trailbreaker Kennel, and all the dogs you see here are also from our kennel. I've got 7 this morning, and they really represent a cross-section of what our dogs look like, and I think that surprises people when they see them for the first time, because these dogs are not as large as you might imagine. They're certainly not all the same color. So what kind of dogs are they? Well, the name of the breed is called Alaskan Huskies, and Alaskan Huskies are working dogs. But in Alaska, there's several types of working sled dogs, and their size really depends on the jobs they do. Now, larger ones, Malamutes, for example, are used to haul heavy loads shorter distances, much like draft horses. Now, these dogs, the Alaska Husky, were used for traveling long distances, hauling people on hunting trips, hauling passengers and mail. So they had to have the physique of a marathon runner, smaller, with more stamina and endurance. Now the next thing that happened is these dogs, these dogs are not all the same color. And they're not an AKC registered dog, they're not show dogs, and yet they've been domesticated probably longer than any breed of dog in the world, over 10,000 years. And during that whole time, people have never been concerned about what they look like on the outside, only what they look like on the inside, because that's where the qualities that make a great teammate come from. So it's things like intelligence, curiosity, instinct, compatibility, as well as physical traits like stamina, speed, and strength, that all come together to make a great working partner. And that's what the people saw even 10,000 years ago when they first migrated into Alaska on foot, because in those days, when they were traveling on foot, they had a chance to observe the dogs following them and saw how efficiently they traveled on the snow, and they had a wonderful idea. They hitched the dogs to their sleds, and their lives changed forever, because these dogs can now take them places they'd only dreamed of going. They gathered more food, life got better. So they rewarded the dogs by giving them consistent care and a much better diet. So the relationship flourished, and the results, I see it every day. Now, the first thing I noticed is what a long and healthy life the dogs live. 14 to 18 years is not uncommon. Most of the dogs in my team today were between 10 and 12 years of age. That's between 70 and 84 in human terms. Still going strong. Now, the second thing is, these dogs have adapted to our environment. Now, these guys here are the exception to the rule. I think you can pick it up. These guys are between 14 months and 2 years of age. So. Now, the second thing is the dogs adapted to our environment. And our environment is probably most famous for how cold it gets. Our temperatures are between, in the wintertime, are between 45 and 70 below zero lots of times. It was this January, and yet by March, or by June, the temperature was 96 degrees above zero. So the dogs have to deal with both heat and cold. And they do that by having 2 layers of fur. Now the outer layer, like you see on Prairie Dawn there, is called the guard hairs. It's coarse and bristly. It protects each dog from abrasion when they run through the forest and rub up against something hard. It protects their skin from injury because it's so tough, but it doesn't insulate very well. So in the wintertime, they grow in this stuff right here. This is called seasonal downy undercoat. It's all being shed out. It's almost all done being shed out. And you can see what it looks like. Tens of thousands of these microscopic hairs per square inch to blanket their whole body and protect them from even the most intense cold. And the great thing about this stuff is it can be used twice. The dogs will use it all winter long to protect them from the wintertime cold. They'll shed it out in the summer, and then we will collect it, card it, spin it into yarn, and knit sweaters that are really, really warm. With really, the sweaters only have one drawback. If you wear them out in the rain and come inside, you smell like a wet dog. So.
Okay, here's a discovery tour that I took today, and we stopped at a Athabascan Indian display, and here we're looking at some of the operations behind fur. We'll zoom in on one of these guys. Like a wolf, doesn't it? Hi, that's a fox. Amazing. Wow. Looks so real. That's because they were at one time. You get this house, let's go into this. Could be badger. Over to this cabin. You see all the people on the tour. You have to have antlers up there. I'm not quite sure what that building was used for. We had a little chat. People in here. Here's the part of the village that dealt more with how the Athabascan really lived. For example, you can see one of the tents, a lot of skin. I'll peek in. This is pretty interesting because this was a boat that's not made with any nails, anything metal. It's all natural. Pretty neat. And then we come in to Rudolph. I'll take a closer look at this one I want. There are a couple other shelters then that people use. And over here, we've got lots of fur. Let me zoom in. They're beautiful. Oh, here's the reindeer. Yeah, one right in front of us. Magnificent animals.
It's amazing, isn't it? Does it feel soft?
Yes, it will. Much here in this way.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
He's gentle. Did you touch it? Yeah.
You see a couple sleepers. And we got one over here. Just kind of hanging out. And here's our buddy. I'm just going to take a step down. Here I am at the craft area. It's hard to even see. Beautiful. There's some magnificent furs.
I do mostly custom orders. And they have my business card and actually, also
And then over here we have Daisy, who's a world-class craftsperson, and she's doing some work right now. Of course, you get all of the people.
Like they've done now, they wind it up, then it's stockpile it, weather permitting. Then they hop back in that tent, get warm, and go back and do that again. Then we get logs, moss, and grass, and we cover up those shafts just to keep them cool, keep the sun and the heat and the rain from getting down there. And then we take that big stockpile, let it thaw, and then separate it through the sluice and pan out. Thanks, guys. Good afternoon.
Gold-bearing quartz, which freed that heavy gold and allowed it to settle and trickle down through all of this material down to the bedrock, where it would drift along and collect into pockets. Now those pockets are what the miners were chasing, and that's why they would dig down this far. Obviously, though, when the miners discovered the gold was settled down this deep, the problem they were facing was how first to get through all of this material above it, which at first was pretty difficult for them. Because again, thousands of years ago, during the Ice Age, all of this material froze solid. It became known as permafrost. Well, the solution they found to deal with that permafrost was steam. Up above on the surface, they would fire a boiler. They would send steam that along these lines here. It would come out to points like this one. They'd use that steam to simply thaw away the walls and ceilings so they could chip and scoop up the material, and then they'd haul it to the bottom of the shafts and ore cars along these railways here. Well, even with that means of getting through the permafrost, it was still quite a lot of exhausting work for them to get down here. So before they'd even begin digging, they'd look for some form of sign or guarantee from Mother Nature to pinpoint where the gold was and make all this work worth their while. In particular, they'd look for other mineral deposits, like what you'll see over there. Now this is a zinc deposit. Everyone see this big bluish-gray vein over here? Well, there's some other minerals in there as well, but when those miners would spot veins like this on the surface, they'd follow them. Dig down here to the bedrock and branch out in several directions along this floor in search of that gold vein. Now, we're going to show one of the ore cars used to move material. Some of the stones you're going to see quite a lot around here. Now, first glance, a lot of these stones are, well, pretty plain looking. If you take some of them, though, and dust them off and look a little closer, clean this one up, you can see they shimmer somewhat. Can you see that sparkle there? Now, there's several different names for this material. One of them is mica. You're going to hear that name used quite a lot, especially when you do your gold panning up above, because mica is going to appear in abundance in your gold pan, and it's going to shine and glitter like this, particularly when it's wet and clean. Don't let it fool you into thinking that it's gold, though, because it isn't. It's basically just a decomposed, broken up.
Put your sunglasses back on. Just put in a few hours a day like you guys said. He's already got some material in that bucket he's putting in the top of our portable piece of mining equipment. We're working on a fact here I mentioned to you. Gold is 19.3 times heavier than water. There's a screen on top. Inside, they look like ribs. Those ribs are riffles. That's the mining term for them. It's on rocker. See why we call it the rocker box? So the screen catches large rocks down, then a good-sized piece of gold travels down through the screen over top of those wood riffles, and because of the extreme weight of the gold, it gets trapped. So he's going to take some of the ground there and test it for us, and at the same time give us a panning demonstration. Let's see how he does. Any luck in that one there, Ron? Okay, we jostling around there? Nothing? Okay. Thank you very much now. We appreciate it. Folks, we need everyone to be seated again so we can go ahead and head up our next stop to the hill. They do that. Thanks, Rock.
As I was saying, the bottom of these shafts here, they had one of those ore cars, like what the guys are pushing along. They lower one of these iron muck buckets down the shaft so they could unload the ore cars into the bucket. They would then hoist the buckets back up and run them along here like you see, up to that pole called the gin pole. There the buckets would jump. They would then come coasting back down and slam into these logs here and be reset for the next load. like that. Those piles there got pretty big, so they erected new gin poles around as they needed to for more room. When the summer times would come, they'd let those piles thaw out so they could wash all the gold from them. Now that required a great deal of high-pressure water. So their summer work would begin by trenching for miles the tops of these high ridges here, which would serve to collect and channel millions of gallons of water downhill to these hydraulic water cannons. And those water cannons would then be used to blast those piles clean and wash all the gold through their sluice boxes they'd have set up nearby. Now, in those days, the sluice boxes are pretty crude and simple. They're made out of wood with wooden riffles and burlap to catch the gold. Nowadays, they're made out of steel. Steel riffles and various forms of carpeting, much more efficient that way. Now, behind me here next to Rocky is the boiler I was referring to. They were fueled by wood. They would consume an entire cord of wood a day. They would clear whole hillsides to keep them fueled, and that's why they called them the Dragon, because they would eat so much wood and breathe fire and spit smoke everywhere. But of course, what the boiler would do is boil the water. We'll send the steam then along these black lines here, some going down below to the tunnel.
Isn't that beautiful, the color in the tree smokes each way? Do you notice that we have one species of tree right here now? These are black spruce trees. Their growth is stunted because they're growing in a permafrost belt. But we use that to find north sometimes, and also the cow, moose, and the babies. They go along the tree line of the deciduous trees and go into these here so they can calve and travel quickly. It's hard for us and short-legged people like predators to catch them through here. They're a lot older than they look. Now the building in front of us, that's the cook shack. That's where that's...
When you see gold, please do not get into the sluice box or try to step all the way across.
The Eldorado crew is going to give you all a hand with the doors on the train before you come off. Just make sure you have everything with you. Watch in action right here.
So I'm going to scrape hard on the bottom, try to get some gold into each helper's pan. I already know it's not much fun. Get the pan all day and don't find any gold.
Yeah, I get crabby.
So there's your dinner, dear.
Thank you. Our pioneers would call this a mineral bowl, and all by itself, the gold pan is the most important piece of mining equipment you're going to have in your camp or in your hand. From the very start of your first cut into the ground till you're down on bedrock, you'll literally run hundreds of feet.
Just swirl it around. You'll hear that grinding sound. There's your first clue that everything's going just right. Keep swirling. There you are. Yes, it should kind of look like mud soup. The soupier the better. See, gold is so heavy, like a man in quicksand. You get this real soupy, the gold is going to go to the bottom of the pan. By now, there's no gold at all in the top layer. So we start to wash away just that top layer. We'll use the water with an action that reminds me of the wave coming in out of an ocean at the beach. Hear that wave picking up the lighter, top sands and gravels in the gold pan, carrying them right back into our wash tub with each wave. There's going to be some larger rocks. The wave doesn't move out. Leave a little water in the pan to rinse them. It is okay to pick them one at a time. As you get a little more experienced, you'll learn to rake those larger rocks together. Cluster them in one corner of the pan. Still rinse them carefully so no gold is stuck to them before you get them out of there. No matter how you take the rocks out, add a little water. Right back to making soup. There's the grinding. Going good. Once again, gotta grind, keep it grinding, shaking the pan from side to side while tipping the pan. To get ready for the beach, work the soup right over towards the edge. Don't shake the soup out. Stop shaking. Let all the water out of the pan. Holding the pan at the same angle as when the water left. Back to the beach. Just dip. This is a gentle beach. Just dip again. Not a hurricane or a tropical storm in sight. Bigger rocks building up. Leave a little water in there to rake them back into. Get them clean. Get them out of there. Soup time again. You see how simple? Well, maybe by the time we get up to the panning area, there's more of an act than it seems. So our panners, helpers to the rescue. At the sluice today, Matt, Kelly, and Jim will next be handing out poke sacks of concentrates, then joining the cook shack crew and coach commanders in the panning area, already willing and able to help anybody that needs it. Not to be bashful, we're all in this together, waiting for help or not sure what to do. Remember the big rocks? They just keep getting smaller. Anytime you leave a little water in the pan, flatten everything back, you're going to see any of the bigger stones. Here at the end, looking these over carefully, seeing signs of some of the other heavy minerals. Tell somebody back home you're going to bring them something special from Alaska and you're on a budget. These rocks here came out right next to your gold. What more could they ask for? No interest to you, get them clean, get them out of it. Right here at the end, we changed the technique just a little. You don't want to risk losing any gold. Put the remaining concentrate over on one side of the pan. Half cup of water on the other. Imagine the water were a little marble. Roll the water around the base. Tip the pan to control it. Let the water wash the dirt off the gold. That is a good batch of gold right there. Right away, somebody's going to need to know the dollar value of all the gold we got here today. Her name is Yukon. You can see she's already started getting the gold into one pan. There will be plenty of time for pictures. Yukon will stand by after the presentation.
The gold mine. Row and row of people. I got my specs. Lots and lots of people panning for gold. Shake it. Gold is 20 times heavier than water. So you dump out the
19 times heavier than the water, 10 to 12 times heavier than anything else in there.
There's one of our employees.
Which miner?
You gotta do it real slow.
Oh no, not in that. The decomposed bedrock. See, the gold is went down further than that.
Lots of people. They guarantee gold, or else they'd help it. And as you can see, lots of tables, lots of people, always after the gold. They're looking and hoping. And at the end, and you're looking for that gold stuff.
Nice job.
I'd want to do some hiking day on Tuesday. I didn't realize that I had basically a day off in Fairbanks. And so I went to this park, and it's a little bit longer hike than I thought, 15 miles all day. And I tried one end, and I couldn't find my way at a certain point with the trail, so I figured at least I would sit down and enjoy this river. I don't have much to zoom in on. There's the shore, which is not really exciting. And the trees. It's really a nice spot here just to sit down. And listen to the water. Which, let's take a look. Kind of a bend right there. I don't think this camcorder does justice, but
Yeah, good. Hi.
All right.
You have a ladybug. Alright,
Okay, so first, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Stefan Laurent Alexander. And I'm 18 years old. And I went to Hopkins High School. And I was in the class that you're doing this for.
Any background information you want people to know about?
Like what?
Anything. What you like doing?
I like to rock. I play drums for a band called Hard Knocks. Drums for a band called Cadillac Blindside. I sing and play guitar for a band called the Snakebite Kit. And I sing and play guitar for a band called
Okay. How is? Do you want to put the question on camera too?
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh. So they know the question. Unless you want to repeat it like the.
We'll do it both ways.
Okay.
Yeah, so
how has ADHD affected your life both in the past and now?
ADHD has affected my life in the past and now. Well, it's made me really impulsive. Like I'll just do stuff, just cause. And I don't know. I just sometimes I'll be thinking one thought and I'll just lose my train of thought for no reason at all. Spend a lot of time running around screaming and not really getting why. I didn't pass the class you guys are doing this for because I had a hard time paying attention, although it was the best class I was ever in. Yeah. So yeah, it pretty much affects everything in my life because I'm always either acting crazy or just sitting down and not paying attention to anything. It sucks. I can handle it by myself, but it's cool.
Do you consider ADHD a disability?
Yeah. I lose my train of thought a lot. When I was younger, they wanted to put me on drugs for it, but I was like, no.
You didn't want to be on.
Well, I tried Ritalin for a while, and I just felt like it made me weak. Not like weak physically, it just made me not really who I was. And I don't know, I guess, I don't know. I like who I am, although sometimes it gets irritating to both me and my friends. I don't know, it works out pretty good.
So you think it is a disability?
Yeah. Because I can tell when I can't concentrate on something and it frustrates me a lot. Like trying to read a book and liking it a lot, but not being able to like keep up on it, focus on the pages.
Do you think that the medicine for stuff like that is used as just like an excuse? Like a big thing in class was just like how there's a medicine for everything now?
Yeah, I think it's definitely like overprescribed and overgiven to people who don't need it, who just sell it to their friends, just snort and get high. I don't know, I just think if you got it, that sucks, but sometimes you just don't pay attention. Sometimes you're not a, pay attention kind of kid. I don't know.
All right. Are you born with ADHD, or can you acquire it at a part of your life? Do you know?
I really don't know. My mom told me that even when I was really little, like when I was a baby, I never cried, but like I was never paying attention to anything that would make me cry. Like if there was like a huge noise and the baby would usually be like, ah, I'd just not notice, I guess. And I've always kind of been a spaz, I guess.
Okay. When were you diagnosed with ADHD?
When I was in 5th grade, and my mom was like, you're hyperactive.
Did you have to go to a doctor to get...
I went to my doctor and he was like, do you have trouble concentrating? And I said, yeah. And he said, you're hyperactive. Are you coming back for the show? All right then. Do it. Wait, there's more.
Go on.
I don't know, it wasn't as simple as that, I guess, but yeah, they said you should take Ritalin because you're always moving around and I vibrate.
How is Ritalin supposed to help you? Do you know? What is it
I guess how hyperactivity and ADHD works and ADD is your body is like there's a chemical in your brain, and that chemical, when it's like normal people have it and it makes your brain function right, I guess it like keeps everything working smoothly. And Ritalin's really a stimulant, and when you take the drug, it makes that part of your brain work properly, but if you give it to regular people, it just makes it work fast. So that's why they get all like,
Okay. What effects of ADHD have affected you the most?
Mostly like schooling and jobs and stuff like that. Like I've never been able to concentrate super well at school. Even no matter how interested I am, I just can't concentrate very well.
Is it hard to keep a job?
It has been pretty hard to keep a job. I like this job where I'm at right now. I work at the Foxfire. All you kids from Hopkins High School should come and visit me. But it's good to keep, this job's pretty easy because there's lots of stuff to do and I can move around all the time. Like right now I'm on break. And that's cool.
Are you as advantaged? Are you the...
Are there any advantages?
Are there any advantages to having ADHD?
Are there any advantages? Well, I like to play in a punk rock band and hardcore bands, and that's cool because I guess I've always felt like I had a lot of energy, like when the rock is happening, and I think that makes my stage presence maybe a little bit better than if I didn't have ADHD or something like that, because I know I can do my best to keep people entertained. Just, I don't know. Sometimes you have to calm me down when I'm on stage. I love rock and roll.
Do you feel a bridge could or should be formed between mainstream and disability culture?
A bridge should be formed and maintained.
Between mainstream and
like,
disability
do you think
culture.
there's a gap in cultures between people with disabilities and the mainstream culture?
With like big disabilities, yeah. Like, ADHD, not so much, because they're just like, you're a spaz, shut up.
Yeah.
But, like, when it comes to, like, disabled people, I don't know, like, more disabled than me. Like, if you have a wheelchair, or if your brain doesn't work on different levels and whatnot, and what have you. Yeah, it seems like they're just the people who get made fun of, or someone walks away from, or I don't know. It's just hard. So yeah, I think especially kids should start real early talking to people that they see are different than them. And I don't know. I think that's the most important thing. That would form the bridge and maintain the bridge between the disabled and regular, I guess, is if you just talk to them, you know, and treat them just like everybody else, and honestly and sincerely in it. When you see them on the street, say hi, just like you would anybody else. You know?
What would you like to?
What would you like the general public to know about you?
I would like the general public to know about me personally, or me as like an ADHD kid.
Whatever.
As an ADHD kid, I feel like when you come and see like a band that I'm in, expect a good show, just because when I get excited, I get really excited, and I'm just excited anyway. And as like a personality kid, I guess, I think ADHD kids who aren't ridiculously extreme cases, like I got friends who, if they don't take the Ritalin, they throw chairs through windows and crazy stuff. But I don't know. Me personally, if you can handle the fact that I'm excited all the time, then I'll probably be a pretty good friend to you, or I'll do my best to. Come visit me at the Foxfire. I work. Go see Hard Knocks. Go see the Snakebite Kid. Rock and roll. Go see the Plastic Constellations, because I go to their shows. You know, come hang out with me. I'm an alright guy.
Alright. How do you feel society is affected by disabilities?
Sorry, I think society is affected by disabilities in the same way that society is affected by everything else that's different. You know, everybody seems to be afraid of different, you know? Like, if I was in a wheelchair and gay, like, no one would ever talk to me, because I'm black. So, I don't know, I just think everybody should treat everybody the same. And it's really hard. I know I have a lot of trouble doing it, but when I do, I feel like a better person, and I think everybody would. It works real good. Yeah, treat them the same too, you know? What's up?
I need a bottle of Jack Daniels.
I'm sorry, man. I can't help you out there.
That was cool, man.
You know, enjoy yourself and enjoy everybody else, because most people are nice. Most people are pretty screwed up, but you know, so are you, and you, and you. I hope I'm pointing at people in the class.
Could you tell us some background info about yourself and like?
Oh, we already did that.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, you did.
All right, lads. Do you ever feel discriminated against because of your disability?
Not on anything except for a social level, because I know a lot of people cannot handle me. They think I'm overbearing and nuts. I've actually been told to my face, Steph, you're out of control. Calm down. Calm down. And that hurt my feelings. Yeah. But, you know, I choose not to medicate myself for this particular disability, but I don't care. The friends I do have that can handle me, and they're good friends, and I love them dearly. And, you know, rock, rock.
How equal do you feel society places value on people with disability and people without? Is it fair?
What?
That makes sense. Did I read that right?
I think so.
Oh,
Do you think it's society treats people equally? People without disability and people with?
Society doesn't treat anybody equally. I mean, this is a completely different topic entirely. I don't want to be like one of those guys who are all dumb and like I'm angry with the world, but I am, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe one of the 3 teachers in your class, I don't know if it's still 3 teachers.
It's 2 now.
Is it 2 now? Well, maybe one of your teachers could bring this up. But when was the last time you saw a happy black male, aside from me? You haven't. I mean, and maybe you have, but I haven't, and I hang out with them. It's weird, it's rough. I mean, nothing is equal. The only people who are really happy are rich white guys, and it's not really okay with me, but I like to brush things off and have a good time instead. But it's really the truth, you know? Life's hard for everybody, and I think people with disabilities have it especially rough because, like, maybe they can't speak their mind right, or maybe they can't, like, get up and walk away from things, you know? Just, I don't know, stuff's hard.
Yeah. How's your...
we already kind of...
Well, how's your education been affected by your disability?
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
But I still haven't graduated high school. I've got a few credits to make up. And I don't want to like use it as a scapegoat, but I'm pretty sure it's because I couldn't concentrate on anything.
Yeah.
You know, I'd try and do homework and it just wouldn't work. And I know a few other people have had that same kind of problem. It's rough, but you know, I plan on doing it sometime.
Do you feel there are enough schools designed for people with disability?
I've only been
like
to...
yourself, even for like ADHD.
It seems like there's stuff for everything, everywhere now. I'm pretty sure Hopkins High School deals with disabilities really well. I just never took advantage of it, just because I didn't care enough, I guess. But you know, turn the page, rock and roll.
If you could get rid of ADHD, would you choose it? Would you choose to do so?
In my life?
Yeah.
Or in everybody's life?
In your life.
I'm just gonna have to say in my life, no, because performing is my favorite thing to do. It adds to performing. Oh, I missed you. Good. You coming to see the show? No.
I should though, but I can't. I wish I could.
It's alright. You coming to see me? No?
Next Friday, right?
Huh?
Next Friday.
Yeah. You going? Oh yeah, everybody should go see Cadillac Blindside. I play drums for that band on November 5th at the Foxfire.
Oh, is this an interview or something?
Yeah, it is.
It's cool.
I'll be right with you in a moment.
Do you remember the question?
Totally. No.
Could you get rid of ADHD in your life?
Oh yeah, if I can get rid of ADHD in my life, if I could. I would not, because I've learned to live with it in a way that is good. I feel it helps me rock harder than anyone else could ever rock. And the people who don't think I'm overbearing think I'm entertaining, you know? And that's cool, and I like to be that kind of guy. And I like to make people smile. And if me acting all dumb and yelling and screaming can make you smile, then I like to act dumb and yell and scream, you know? It's cool. Everyone should smile more. I think that would help things too.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Awesome.
If people would just relax, if people would just calm down and just smile more and not be so stressed out about everything, not let everything get on their nerves and stuff, I don't know, just everything would be better.
Yeah.
Come here! Oh, goodness me. I am.
Well, that's it, Steph. You want to say anything to finish it?
Okay,
At all?
In closing, ADHD is a thing that happens to people, and they can deal with it. And other people, they can deal with it too. And if they can't, they should start. And that's the same with all disabilities. Hi, everybody in that class. If you decide you're not going to do a very good job in that class, then you're probably dumb. But you're not really dumb. But you should, because it's the best class I ever took, even though I didn't pass it. I'd totally do it again.
You want to say hi to Miss Bailey or Miss Peterson?
Hi, Miss Bailey and Miss Peterson. Put them on your cheeks. Hi, everybody in the class. Have fun.
Peace.
McCready.
Welcome to the Hofstadter Wayzata Dual Meet. I'd like to introduce the team from Wayzata. Marissa Roche, Emily Yager, Julie Gervis, Molly Blair, Rena Steve, Emily Lipkin, Amanda Marr, Lisa Gallagher, Bridget Anderson, Lisa Legenhausen, Rachel Carter, Rebecca Shue, Brianna Stewart, Melissa Figuera, Co-Captain Renee Bird, Gabby Shea, Alicia Fox, Natalie Graham, Annie Miller, Emily Hadid, and Co-Captain Laura Jansen. And I'd like to introduce the coaches, Leah Evans, Penny Ernstein, Ella Gatlin, Ray Glenn, and Todd Stewart. And then we will receive competition for several more.
Hi there, Em. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that too. The cheapo.
Wow. Hi.
Hi. What you got there?
Cheapo, isn't it?
Ooh.
You can buy one of those plastic constellations. Now, how are we going to take your pictures?
To Mom, love always, Emily.
What did Connie Fish used to say? Was
On
just
the
a
top,
power?
Yeah, I don't know how to
Is it
work
on?
it though. Yeah, it's on. I don't know how to work it though.
Mhm.
Where's the zoom in and out button?
It's on the top, it kind of goes sideways.
Oh.
It's different than the old one.
Connie had this expression, something about weeds. Small things.
Sorry.
What, Josie?
Rose!
What?
Rose.
It's for me, not for you.
You're hogging the picture, babe.
Oh, that's pretty. Huh? You didn't think I'd like it?
No, because it wasn't on your list.
Oh.
Thank you.
What is on the... Whoa. We took everybody else's picture.
I'm taking your picture now.
Thank you, Em. I'm going to Kohl's to buy me something nice. One of my favorite stores now.
You gotta get you prepared.
Oh, thank you. That's what that was. That's everything then.
Looks like it's got quite a bit. It's got some
I had a
things.
magazine.
No, that was just to cover up the handle.
It's got some nice lights.
Let's zoom it. There we go. An air compressor and some
Yeah,
tools.
that's amazing. That's got everything in it. Thank you.
Yes?
Sure. Hi, Josie. Didn't help me.
Oh, Josie.
She in the way?
No.
What? No, there's a bigger knife. There's a normal blade.
Trust me.
I don't know. You trust yourself? Just cut away from yourself, that's all.
Ouch.
Yeah, once you get past a few of those, the rest is rippable. It's a
Always
container.
wanted me to be organized.
I should have taped this really hard too.
Huh?
Bose, can you get out of the way, puppy? Go. Get out of the way, Bose. Please. Open the... Is there a smaller one in there? Open that first. Or you could open the bricks.
Thanks. Is that it?
Yeah.
Or do I have to dig?
No, that's it.
Which one am I supposed to open?
Open the little one first. Bose!
It's okay. Dad, it's
No, but I
okay.
want to see. I want to see. I'm sorry, puppy. I'm sorry. Sit.
Oh, it's my Misto. Mr. Misto. Thank you. Look. Gourmet olive
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Bose, I just want it out of the way so I can see Mommy open her gifts.
Shall I wait?
What do you mean should you wait?
Well, it's my last present, so I wondered if I should wait.
Alright, if you want to.
Sure.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Oh, wow.
Where's the knife?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You got it?
Did you find it? No, I haven't. Just wait.
Yeah, you can do that way too.
You know when you put your wrist on the thing for the keyboard?
Mhm.
Jello-y? That's what it feels like on your feet. So it feels like I'm knocking on Jello.
The last piece to the puzzle. Oh, thank you.
We look at some different ones. And this had some features.
Right on the top? Yeah, it's a card.
Gusto. Thank you. Now I can chop. Owie. Open it. You need a knife to open it.
I could assist. The guy that sold it to me was the guy that graduated with Kerry Joseph and those guys.
Oh.
Lifetime warranty.
Oops, I almost go with that. Well, these are supposed to be the best. This loose stuff. When we got something for your Alaska trip, isn't that what the guy was showing us?
The Swiss Army knife. These are really sharp guys. So please be careful.
Oh. Stop.
And scissors.
That goes on the bottom. And Aaron, you can have my old knife.
Sharpen. Wow.
There's a bread knife in there.
Yeah, there you got that.
Oh, and there's even a video.
Video.
There's a video that comes.
Yeah.
You want to guess the tallest mountain in North America? Thank you. What I thought was my picture.
She's on her last one, I think.
Oh, this is the big one. This is a really special home. Oh my goodness. Really special. You can figure it out.
Too bad there's not a second line that goes with it.
It's a speakerphone and it's cordless.
But even better than speakerphone cordless, the speaker is on the phone. You can
Most
go
of them, it's
anywhere
on
with
the
it.
base.
Oh, wow.
Most of them are on the base, so you can't leave the base. This one you can go anywhere and turn on the speakerphone.
Maybe you don't have experienced those yet.
Oh, do they expand and make it?
They melt, yeah, the gelatin thing melts and makes it a little spongy. They're magic. That's gonna get you something.
We had one of those little tiny Christmas trees.
Oh, that grows.
That grows.
Can open another one?
Eventually. And now it's
You can
shrinking
use
back
your
down.
teeth.
And yesterday somehow we got in the kitchen sink with
Got
some
wet
water,
again?
so it expanded some. Who's that one from? Who's? Josie? Is that from Josie again? I don't know.
No, that one's from Uncle Bob and Aunt Rosemary.
Why do they make things so? You don't have to open them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How long does it take for that to?
Oh, you see right away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was mentioning that Sears has some 20% restocking because of all the things that people bought.
Oh, that was cute if she got that far like
Yeah.
that. I think she did.
I think so. Our camera's playing.
It's draft. Oh, is it about Jesus?
Oh, Bible
Were
stories.
some of both Aaron and Emily's. Is their favorite?
Whoopsie.
What is it, Kyle?
Look.
Is it about
But
Jesus?
look at what stories are in it. It just so happens.
Is it the first one even?
I think it's no. I think it's the middle one.
Ooh.
Then when you start reading, that's a nice book for you to learn to read with.
That was it, wasn't it?
Yes.
Kyle?
You want to see what Uncle Bob?
Kyle, watch.
Here.
Look at this.
Take this and put it in the water.
Then look at see what happens.
Okay?
Watch. Watch.
Watch it. It'll take. Maybe it should be hotter. We'll let you know. Oh, that's a good way of doing it. Here, let me stick it on my hand.
And who's this one from?
Okay, once you keep opening, we'll just kind of see what happens
Who's this from? Uncle Bob.
there. This is a special one from the, well,
Uncle Bob.
it's from Uncle Bob. Where is he? Yeah, it's hot. The water's getting inside. Yeah, it's starting to come out. We're all in the middle here. It's some flowers. You like flowers? You like flowers? Oh, you got it. That's kind of box gonna be a little difficult.
Oh, she's going to figure it out.
Here, you pull.
Wonder what's in there. Oh.
Oh boy.
What you got?
Squeeze it.
Let
Bend
me
down a little bit,
see.
Bob.
Let me
Bend down a
see.
little bit.
What is it?
Let me see. This is on the back. It's the boy.
Kyle?
I think you gotta do it on the back.
Kyle? Turn around and show it to Rosemary.
Look at Rosemary. Over there.
Push him. Kyle, can I see him?
Hold him up again. Kyle?
He's giving him.
Hold him up so Rosemary can see
Can
it.
I
What's
see
the
him?
word?
Can I
Resuscitating?
see the dog boy?
Got a little bit more on there.
It's coming out. There it comes.
What is it?
Woo!
Uh-oh.
Oh.
What happened to him? Come apart?
I think it's a penguin.
Oh, it's two penguins.
Yeah, it's two penguins.
Oh.
It's a mommy and a baby.
Mommy, baby.
Two penguins.
So this is a clicker on the back.
So you don't punch him in the belly, huh?
No.
Two separate penguins.
Yeah.
Or you hear him first.
Water.
So do you... Yeah, Mike thought that too until we went through the inventory last night.
And you thought of Imelda Marcos?
Kyle, can I
No,
see?
We got a couple size 7s and a 3 or 4 size 6s.
Okay, bud.
That we did give into it, so.
You're very thorough. All right.
What you got?
To watch.
You know what it is, do you?
You're gonna be able to watch poo on there. Pictures of poo.
Yeah, what is it?
Can he open it up for you?
I think I can do it, maybe not.
Oh, that tastes good, doesn't it? Let's see if there's an easier way. Can Uncle Bob see?
Probably not yet.
Well, there is one in
Oh,
there.
is there one in there?
You see something? Oh, this is oh, look at this one. It's just different Disney movies, and there's one of Pooh.
Look in there.
Look in there, Kyle.
You see Pooh? Look at this slow smile. Can Rosemary put in?
Can you see anybody? Or is it in between here?
Tigger.
Tigger.
Tigers.
And push this.
The only one.
Boing, like you're
Tigers
taking a
don't
picture.
like to ice skate. Yeah, just keep pushing that thing. Smarter than the average Pooh. Boo boo.
Kyle.
Can you look
It's
at
like a camera.
Emily over?
And it shows
Kyle.
poop pictures.
Can I see you?
This looks like one of those
What do you see?
masks for swimming.
Yeah, I know.
Well, when one of my brothers was
Kyle.
a little kid, we had a
Thank you.
play school.
It's
Oh.
the Doodle Guy.
That's from him. Where's Aaron?
Maybe he'll
It's from Aaron.
It's
to
for you.
Kyle,
For you.
it's for you. It's from
It's for
Aaron.
Kyle.
Hi, Aaron gave it to you. Can you say thank you, Aaron?
This is 3D.
Yep, that's for, oh, is it? That's for Kyle too.
Kyle, let's see how this works. Let's see how this works. Kyle, now Melly, here, use your fingers again. Yeah.
What in the world is this?
Kyle, what is it?
Don't take them off.
Now that's something that Emily made.
Cool
It's an
idea.
A-game.
Cool idea.
Does that come
I
apart?
bet you toss it
No.
in there. You have to see. No,
Well, it might,
no,
but
no.
no.
It goes like this.
Just throw it in the.
See?
Make
See
it
if I
in
can
the.
make it. See it? Can I make it in one of those buckets?
Oops. Can you do that, Kyle?
Here, throw
Can
it.
Bob do it?
Throw it in the toss. Throw it in here. Okay, try this one now.
That's how you get people gamble.
I'll try it again. Look at whee! Oops, I missed. There, I made it. Yay! That's nice to have a creative toy like that. Yeah.
Kyle, can I have one?
Oh, let's leave the toothpicks.
Hey, I'm in an opening
Rosemary
mood.
wants the toothpicks, I think. That's all.
So we're pleased about the numbers exploding, and part of that is because of the wonderfully supportive administration and parents that are very interested in